That's a wrap for 237 Santa Isabel. So Chris, gosh, it's been a long time coming here. I mean, what, 5 years?
At least.
And I think it's really important is that, you know, when we first met and explored the opportunity of selling, that, like you said, your heart really wasn't into it. Tell me a little bit about that and, you know, maybe emphasize on the journey, you know, getting us here to closing day.
It's been a long one. So yes, we first met when I looked at an open house that you were hosting down the street, not too far away, and thought about the idea of having you potentially listing our house and working out a deal that we can get into that one. Probably more of me wanting to do it than my wife, but brought you over, you got to meet my wife, and we talked through it. And you're right, our heart wasn't fully into it. We weren't fully into that house per se, and we weren't selling this one. So you're right, it was a process, a painful process, but we ultimately let you list it, pocket listing, to see what was out there. And when we went through that process and you know, we were showing the house the way we were showing it, just ultimately came to the conclusion that it wasn't the right thing to do at the time.
So, and that's a testament that, you know, when the right things line up in life, you know, things really fall into place, and it's easy and it's effortlessly, you know, it's not something that's forced, it's going to feel right, you know, and then, hey, we killed it with the market. I mean, you know, with the timing and the prices right now.
So fast forward a couple years, we ended up moving into another house around the corner not too long ago, and we had rented this out for a couple of years, and we were in between renters when you had reached out and said, let me list it. And I was of the conclusion I never wanted to sell, but I was also starting to feel the pain of being a single home landlord and not wanting to deal with that. So with the market the way it was, I'm like, it couldn't hurt. But still, you know, you got to go into it 100%. And I wasn't going to. I mentally thinking I still didn't want to sell it, and you convinced me to do it right.
Yeah.
And you did do it right. You did exactly what you said you would.
You know, and the formula, and I think a little bit was a little resistant, you know, some of the things that we did here in converting, you know, your dining room that you guys lived in here for 22 years. I mean, this is the way that you lived in the home prior. So it's, I think, a little bit of resistance and difficult to see the vision that I had with converting that into an office and moving the dining room. But, you know, ultimately, and we discussed that you don't, the way that you sell a home is not the same way that you live in a home. And, you know, when you're ready to sell and you're serious about it, you've got to completely depersonalize it, and you've got to follow the formula. And the formula is very simple, which is paint, stage, invest in really good staging, and really to pick a smart listing price. And we discussed that we had a target number, and the target number I promised you that I was going to get with the strategic listing price, which is, you know, you look at the comps and you price it anywhere from 5 to 10% under the last comp, so that we can create multiple offers in a bidding war. And ultimately, we're going to get the best offer at that point.
That's exactly what happened. And you're right. It was hard for me to swallow the vision for the house, but ultimately it came together quite nicely. And actually, it's now that we've sold the house, it's kind of warming up to what the look and feel that you've changed it into has actually turned out. It was fantastic. So I got to give you a lot of props for that.
Well, you know, it's a true honor to, you know, help you to get to this point today. And, you know, I rarely get emotional about homes, but I got so attached to this property because I put my heart and soul into it. And it's just truly an honor. And I'm so grateful that we were able to make it happen, and we got a wonderful client for you. So I just want to say thank you again. And do you have any tips for any of the future home sellers out there that might be watching this video and considering selling? Based on your experience and what you know now, what would you advise the future home seller?
Well, use you. You've been fantastic. That's a great tip. But at the end of the day, though, to your point, you got to be 100% all in. You don't go halfway. And if you do that, the dividends will pay. And I was pleasantly surprised to see it all come together as you were changing the home around, creating a buzz about it, social media, etc. How you did your open houses, everything flowed so well that when those offers started coming in, it wasn't a surprise. It was like, wow, okay, this is how it's supposed to work. And it's exactly what you said it would.
And we got over our list price, which is another, huge plus. But they did have a party here, I mean, I had 100 people here. We had mocktails, we had a bar, we had music and everything.
It was a fantastic house.
That just goes to show you that, when a home has certain attributes, you got to really put on a show. And it's about lights, camera, and action. That's what it takes to sell homes these days and to get top dollar. Totally. So I'm so grateful again. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And